This is the last lesson in this unit, and our goal here is I will solve systems of equations graphically. So there's a few different things here. It's talking about the word systems. What on earth is a system? Well, a system usually consists of more than one item for it to be a system, and we're going to be solving it graphically. So first of all, let's talk about what a system really is. So a system of equations is where two lines intersect. The solution is a point of intersection. Okay, so we have two lines. We could have more than that, but for most of our applications, we're only going to be using two lines. We're interested in if they intersect, and if they do, what is their point of intersection? So actually, our solution is an ordered pair, so our answer is going to be an XY coordinate. Okay, now in grade 10, you'll review this again, but you'll also be able to solve these systems algebraically, right? So for grade 9, we're only concerned about solving them graphically. So let's take a look, first of all. Okay, so you can see I have two situations here. Let's look at the first one. Okay, so I have an X and Y coordinate grid, and I have two lines. Okay, so this is my system, the two wild blue and purple. And so really what I'm interested in is the solution. And the solution is that green dot, that ordered pair where they intersect. Now, the reason we're concerned about that is often in application questions, we're talking about revenue and cost. Okay, so our solution here, when I get it to come through, our solution is not coming. Sorry about that. So our solution here is where they intersect, and that point is important because that is the breaking even point. So what we mean by break even point when we're talking about revenue and cost is below that point, what happens is we have a loss. So here we're losing money, and above that break even point is actually our profit. So that's where we're making profit. Okay, so profit occurs above the break-even point, loss happens below the break-even point. So obviously people that are in business are concerned about the break-even point. All right, so let's take a look at the next part. Okay, what they're actually asking us to do. So it says determine the solution to the system of equations. Okay, so the first thing we have to do, which is not like the examples here, we have to first of all draw our lines in order for that to happen. So what we're doing here is we have to use the information that we know from previous lessons in order to graph. Now you can see that both of those lines are in the correct form for us, so it should be easy to graph. So, oops, sorry about that. Let's bring up purple. So we know that we have y equals mx plus b. Both of them are in that form. For the first one, I can see my slope is positive 1 because there isn't a number in front there, and my b is a positive 1. So in order to graph the first one, I find my y-intercept, and that's a 1. Then I use my slope, which is 1, up 1 over 1, up 1 over 1. Okay, so it just keeps on going. And I need to then draw a line through that. So here's our line. We'll make it purple the same as, well, not quite the same as. And we'll draw that through our points. Now, because I don't know where they're going to intersect, oops, because I don't know where they're going to intersect, obviously I'm going to make my line fairly long. So I just paused it and I actually drew it. So it's long, it goes straight through my grid everywhere because I don't know where the two lines may intersect. Okay, so that is my first equation, and I probably should label that as that equation so that if someone was looking at it, they would know that that's the equation I graphed in that location. So that would be y equals x plus 1. Now I'm going to switch colors. This time I'll use green because I think it'll contrast with that one that I have. And in this case, I have my slope is -2 and my y-intercept is 4. So that's the first thing I'm going to do. And I'm going to put my y-axis at 4. And then I'm going to go down 2 over 1. Ooh, I think I know where it crosses. 1, 2 over 1. So I can see already what I have. And so I am going to now draw my line through there, make it green so it kind of matches. Again, not really. And for some reason I have using up a lot of memory. Now, I don't have mine quite in the location I want, so I'm just going to rotate it a little bit. Now, the thing is, when you're solving systems graphically, you want to graph as accurate as possible, so you can see where they do intersect. So that is my equation, y equals -2x plus 4. So my solution, okay, so I've graphed 2 points and 2 lines, I should say, and that's not the end, okay, because I haven't answered anything because it asked me to solve the system. So the system where it's solved is where it intersects. So this is my answer here. So my solution is the coordinate 1, 2. So therefore, 1, 2 is the solution. Okay, so just graphing it is going to get you some marks, but you haven't answered any question without actually giving me the ordered pair. Okay, so let's look at some more examples. Okay, so the next one, I've made my grid just a little bit smaller so that it fits on a little bit better. Might be a little bit harder for you to see, however, that's the only issue with that. Okay, so let's take a look at their next one. So our next one, the first thing we need to do, are they in the proper form so I can see how to graph them? Well, it appears that they are. So that's the first step. So are they in the form y equals mx plus b? Yes, they are again. Oops, and I was in such a hurry I didn't copy down it correctly. So I can see now with my first equation that my slope equals -2 and my y-intercept equals +2. So down the y-intercept to 2. Then I need to go down 2 over 1. Down 2 over 1. And that's the way it goes. And now I need to draw my line through that. Again, because I don't know where they're going to intersect, I need to make sure that I extend my line far enough so that I can see where they do intersect. Okay, now you can see I don't have mine quite lined up correctly again. So I'm just going to rotate mine so that it does go through those points. Okay, that's why you need to make sure you're using a ruler as well. Otherwise, you're really doing guessing. Okay, and I should put arrows on my lines. I know I didn't do that for one of my equations previously, but make it up for these ones. So y equals -2x plus 2. Okay, now my next equation, equation is my slope is equal to 1 and my y-intercept equals -1/2. Okay, now you can see why this method maybe isn't as good as maybe something you're going to learn in grade 10. So my slope, my y-intercept down to -1/2. So that's roughly here. Now my slope, I need to rise 1 and run 1. So rise 1, run 1. Rise 1, run 1. rise 1, run 1. You can see it's much harder to do it when you just have a fraction. Again, let's do this, and we will also change the color to green. And obviously that doesn't go through the points. So again, we want to make sure that it does. Okay, so you can see this one's a little bit harder to tell. Is it possible that my blue one's off a little bit? It could be. Okay, so I've tried to make questions that do intersect the grid exactly in a corner. However, that doesn't necessarily mean that all of the ones that you will be doing will have that occur. So I'm going to write this equation as soon as I get my pen in the right place. So y equals x minus 1/2. My solution appears to be right here. Okay, so that's my solution, and it appears that it is 1, 0. Okay, so therefore 1, 0 is the solution. So you can see some of the problem is what happens if it doesn't intersect exactly? Well, then you're going to be kind of guessing, making the best estimate of where they do intersect. Okay, let's look at another one. I guess we have 2 more here. I think I'll pause it so we can get the next 2 on video.